Hello everybody and welcome to Myriad of Lies. This is episode 2, Friends and Fiends. So even though Blizzard has sent out about 300,000 beta invites, I still haven't gotten mine, but that's no excuse for not getting a new video out there. So today, I wish to discuss some of the new glyphs and talents that allow for greater customization and differences within the same class among different players. I also hope to generate some discussion, so please feel free to comment. So as far as I can tell, Blizzard has yet to announce what the new glyph interface is going to look like in MOP, nor have they announced how many glyphs we can have active on one character. They have announced, however, that too many glyphs felt like they were a must-have. In other words, if you didn't have a specific glyph, your DPS suffered and you were shunned by other players. As a result, Blizzard has announced that they're going to remove prime glyphs completely, which were the largest contributors of this problem, and insert more fun glyphs that will add to more customization. Some of these customizations are already in the game. For instance, Mage's Polymorph. On its own, you can polymorph sheep. However, you can glyph it, and you can have Polymorph Monkey. Or, you can also glyph it to get Polymorph Penguin. Isn't he cute? There are some other options, of course. For instance, the Tome of Polymorph Turtle can be found by fishing in pools, or you could buy it on the AH. I got mine for 250 gold. Found in Dalaran is Endora Moorhead. She's in the shop The Sister Sorceress, and she sells in limited supply Tome of Polymorph Cat. Also, you can find Zanzo the Amazing wandering the streets of Dalaran, and he can teach you the spell Polymorph Pig. So I think customization like this in the game is good. The more we can separate ourselves from other players of the same class, the better. And it looks like Blizzard is really starting to pick up on this in MOP. Some of the glyphs that they've already implemented into the beta, especially for the druids, really demonstrate this. The druids have a whole new selection of glyphs they can choose that will make them look distinctly different from other druids in the game. For instance, Glyphs of the Stars allows your Moonkin form ability to be replaced with an astral form. Now, you look basically like your normal humanoid form, and kind of like the Shadow Priest, you're all transparenty like that, but rather than being purple, you're more of a blue. Glyph of the Chameleon makes for that every time you shapeshift into your cat or bear form, your shapeshifted form will have a random hair color. Glyph of the Stag makes that your travel form now appears as a stag, and also on top of that, it can be used as a mount by party members. Glyph of the Orca turns your travel form into an orca whale. And finally, Glyph of the Moon Beast turns your Moonkin into a brown rather than a grey Moonkin. Paladins will be getting Glyph of Bladed Judgment, which makes your judgment spells depict an axe or a sword rather than a hammer if you have an axe or a sword equipped. So as I already mentioned, I think customization like this is excellent. The more that players feel different from one another, the better. The problem is that with some of these glyphs, the stag and the orca in particular, might soon become glyphs that all druids will want, and therefore they're not going to be different from each other because they're all going to look the same. Now there's probably two ways, I think, to best solve this. One is restrict the player to only one form of the changing glyphs. In other words, if you select Glyph of the Stag, you will be unable to select Glyph of the Orca. Or even better, offer more choice. Rather than have one glyph that changes your travel form, introduce 2 or 3 of the same category. So, in addition to Glyph of the Stag, you can also have, say, Glyph of the Panther, or maybe even Glyph of the Horse, etc. In addition to Glyph of the Orca, you can also have Glyph of the Frenzy Fish, or Glyph of the Seahorse. By doing so, we would see many different types of druids out there, and different is good. Perhaps the ability to carry a mount would need to be removed in order to prevent people from always picking Glyph of the Stag, or make them all mountable, including the base travel form. The only problem with these new druid glyphs is that it will be sure to create some unrest among the other classes who always want new cool abilities. It is very early in the beta, so I'm sure Blizzard will give all classes more lovin'. I doubt they will get as many cool abilities as the druids, but that is the nature of the druid class, no pun intended. The rest of us, myself included, whose main is a DK, will just have to suck it up. And that brings me to the next point I wish to discuss, and that is the new pets that warlocks are getting through a certain talent. Now before I go into detail about the actual pets, I want to talk in general about the talent changes that are coming in MOP. The idea behind the talent system was adding a way for players to differentiate themselves between other players and customize their abilities and utilities. As a result of the current and older talent builds, there are always cookie cutter builds. In other words, builds that provided the best damage benefits, and if you deviate from those builds, it will result in a loss of DPS, and most likely, ridicule from other players. In response to this, Blizzard has created a new talent system for MOP. The idea now is to offer one talent point every 15 levels. That talent point can be placed in one of 3 options. Each talent tree will provide similar abilities. For example, the 5th tier of DK talents all provide changes in how runes regenerate. As a result, Blizzard hopes to eliminate cookie-cutter builds and provide more choices that will be selected according to your own personal playing style or game situation. However, I feel that the Warlock's 5th tier talent is an area for discussion. The second talent, Grimoire of Service, allows you to instantly summon a second demon who fights for you for 30 seconds, and it has a 2-minute cooldown. The third talent, Grimoire Sacrifice, is an instant cast with a 2-minute cooldown, and it allows you to sacrifice your demon to gain increased damage and health, and it lasts for 15 minutes. The first talent, Grimoire Supremacy, offers some new and exciting fiends for warlocks to use, effectively replacing the warlock's demons with new ones. Not only will they have different and better abilities than the warlock's standard demons, but they will offer some more customization options for warlocks. You will be able to summon a Fell Imp, who isn't all that much different looking from the normal Imp. The Void Lord is basically a Void Walker, but with armor on. You can also summon a Shivan, an Observer, an Abyssal, and a Terror Guard. Some fan sites have been claiming that you can also summon a Wrath Guard. However, this isn't in the talent description, so I'm not all too sure of what's going on. Now, as cool as this new talent is, I feel that there's going to be some inherent problems with it. From a DPS perspective, demo locks, assuming that their mastery stays the same, will most likely benefit more greatly from this talent than the others. In fact, I would think Grimoire Sacrifice would actually be a DPS loss for demo locks, but a huge gain for destruction and affliction locks. I'd imagine that some warlocks will be so psyched about getting new demons that they'll take the talent regardless of what specialization they are. And there you have it, every warlock taking the same talent. It might not be a cookie cutter build, but this is the sort of thing that Blizzard said they wanted to avoid in MOP. Now, I really do like the idea of new demons, but perhaps it would be best to split the talent into 3 talents, all in the same tier, 2 demons per talent. Players would then have to decide which 2 demons they would like access to. This would result in a greater variety of demons running around, and other locks feeling like they weren't being cheated out of something really cool by taking a talent that would actually boost their DPS. Perhaps if the talent would allow you to keep one of those 2 demons in play permanently, and in tandem with one of your original warlock demons, it would add for greater variety in the world of lockcraft. Anyhow, this is Myriad of Lies, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for more, and remember, if you like what you saw, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you'll know when the next episode is posted. Also, feel free to discuss in the comments below any of the changes to druid or warlocks and the suggestions I made in this episode.